Standing at 6'2" and with over 5 decades in film and television, Sam Elliott remains unbowed. And even though time will always demand its toll, the legendary character actor seems to be one of the few paying back the absolute minimum. With his evergreen, iconic deep voice and distinctive mustache, fans have remained in a loop of enchantment. Whether they decide to rewatch classics like Mask, Roadhouse, and the like, or recent works like 1883 and A Star is Born, many stand in awe of the man and praise his dedication to his work. Unfortunately, this success is Sam's greatest tragedy, and it's beyond heartbreaking. Sam's first and only Oscar nomination might have come when he was 74. However, this late recognition doesn't give an accurate summary of his skill, especially when you realize that he started acting early. Born on August 9, 1944 at Sutter Memorial Hospital in Sacramento, California, Sam was christened Samuel Pack Elliott. His father, Henry Nelson Elliott, was a predator control specialist for the U.S. Department of the Interior. This job was a difficult one with danger at every corner. As a result, Sam's father was tough, and if you expected Sam's mother to compensate, you would be disappointed. His mother, Glennie Sparks, was once a state-level diving champion before becoming a high school physical education teacher. So Sam was raised by two parents who were highly disciplined and whose careers required continued display of self-control. You didn't need much imagination to know how the modest couple trained their children. On top of that, Sam's parents were connected to the Western lifestyle. They could both trace their roots all the way back to El Paso, Texas. However, growing up, Sam and his parent resided in Sacramento. Still, even though his father spent a lot of time away from home tracking wild animals, he ensured that his children understood what he really stood for. He believed in working with his hands, being modest and principled. And above all, he didn't have much respect for people who claimed to be invested in pursuing dreams. Unknown to him, his own son was one of those people. Sam had fallen in love with the movies. As a child with a strong imagination, when he saw his first film in his town's cinema, he must have concluded that that was his calling. And right before adolescence, Sam was already dreaming of being an actor. By the time he was a teenager, his family moved to Portland, Oregon after his father was transferred. Even here, Sam located the cinema and became a regular visitor. Young Sam attended Madison High School as a freshman and David Douglas High School for his final 3 years, graduating as a top prep hurdler in the state. He wasn't particularly interested in academics. However, he did like a bit of quiet and nature, so he would often find his way into the woods to be alone with his thoughts. Acting remained at the forefront of his mind, and when he informed his mother, she was quick to encourage him to follow his heart. That was completely different from what her husband said when he found out what his son wanted to do with his life. Sam's father had always felt that entertainment as a career wasn't a stable source of income for a person to build their life on. He wanted his son to work for the government or do something that provided security for his future. Whenever he sat Sam down to talk about his plans for the future, it often ended in some form of disagreement. His father didn't want him to pursue acting as a career and instead urged him to obtain a college degree. Sam later recalled what his father said in one of these many meetings. "He gave me that proverbial line, 'You've got a snowball's chance in hell of having a career in Hollywood.'" Sam understood that his father wasn't saying this out of bad faith. He was a father who was simply being realistic. He himself never graduated from college and wanted more than anything that his only son did what he couldn't. So despite the fact that Sam wasn't fully sure he was giving up acting, he decided to appease his father by obtaining a college degree. So he enrolled at the University of Oregon in the fall, hoping to become one of the legendary college's track and field coach Bill Bowerman's Men of Oregon. Sam stated, "I had visions of being a man of Oregon, but didn't have what it took and was not ever academically inclined." He admitted, "I came down here and messed around and got booted out." Sam had lasted just 2 years. After leaving the varsity, he enrolled in Clark College in Vancouver, Wash, and continued his athletic pursuit. There he ran both the 120-yard high hurdles and the 360-yard intermediate hurdles. Still, Sam found a way to do some acting, appearing in the college's production of Guys and Dolls. After obtaining a 2-year degree at Clark College, he re-enrolled at the University of Oregon. He pledged the Sigma Alpha Epsilon fraternity, still hoping to obtain a 4-year degree. But again, Sam was having a hard time making the academics part work in his favor. And while he was trying his best, tragedy struck. His father had died of a heart attack in Portland. He was 54 years old. That news broke 18-year-old Sam. Remembering, he stated, "That killed me." He and his beloved father still hadn't agreed upon the career he wanted to pursue. Sam felt his father died, still believing his son's mind was set on the wrong path. And what breaks Sam's heart is that the old man never got a chance to see what became of the said path. For him, this was the wound that never fully healed. His father's death was the last straw that broke the camel's back. Sam quit school and relocated to Los Angeles to pursue a career in acting. He later said of his decision to go against his father's wishes, "He was a realist, my dad. He was a hard worker. He had a work ethic that I've fashioned mine after, and I thank him for that every day." Following his move to LA, Sam soon signed as a contract player with 20th Century Fox and got his first role on the TV cop drama Felony Squad during the 1968-1969 season. Around this time, Sam worked in construction while studying acting and served in the California Air National Guard's 146th Airlift Wing, which was known as the Hollywood Guard at Van Nuys Airport, before the unit moved to Channel Islands Air National Guard Station. Then after that, he landed his first film role in 1969's Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, which also starred Catherine Ross, the woman he would spend the next 4 decades with. He and Ross reunited 9 years later, and that was when they began dating. In Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, Sam's role was small and almost insignificant. He was simply the card player number 2, sitting at a poker table without a single line of dialogue. But Sam humbly played even that small role well, seeing it as an opportunity to learn from the bigger stars. And throughout the next decade, this was the strategy he stuck with, working diligently in guest and supporting roles. He chose to grow his hair long and allowed his mustache become fuller. This unique look was questioned by many, but Sam didn't care. He wasn't getting leading roles, but he was gradually becoming the go-to guy when you needed cowboys or soldiers. This threw his name into the mix often, and the name Sam Elliott was becoming recognizable. His first significant breakthrough came with the TV movie I Will Fight No More Forever, where he played Charles Wood, and the following year, he starred in Lifeguard, as a beach lifeguard torn between personal freedom and societal expectations. While these movies weren't outrageously successful, they brought Sam some attention. His performance caught the attention of critics. A man who didn't need many words, yet could make audiences feel every emotion through a single look. The 80s were kinder to Sam. After dedicating years to supporting roles, he got a huge role in the movie Mask. In the film, he played Gar, the life partner and emotional anchor of Rusty Dennis, portrayed by Cher, and the loving stepfather of Rocky, a boy with a rare craniofacial condition. This was a more challenging role for Sam, who had spent a significant amount of time being in stoic roles to the point where critics were beginning to insinuate that that was all he was good for. Sam wasn't about to let them stereotype his career. So behind the scenes, he worked on building an emotional connection with his co-stars off-camera. He worked with child actor Eric Stoltz in order to have a very natural father-son dynamic on camera. That work was well rewarded when the movie came out. Said critics had to admit that this was the turning point in Sam's career. He was now a versatile actor with profound emotional depth. This reveal opened up more opportunities for Sam, who remained highly selective, always searching for characters with weight and dimension. The impressive thing about Sam was his refusal to abandon the rugged, masculine archetype that had given him a foothold in the industry. And when Roadhouse came out in '89, fans were delighted. The 90s returned Sam to westerns, a return well appreciated by many fans, and in their eyes, cemented Sam's reputation as an icon in the genre. This conclusion was not rushed into, by the way. He both produced and starred in the film Coner, which was adapted from a Louis L'Amour novel. His portrayal of the character Con Coner earned him Emmy and Golden Globe nominations. Sam went on to appear in 2 historical epics, Gettysburg and Tombstone, both of which were praised to the high heavens. Then he starred in Buffalo Girls, which gave him another opportunity to play a Western icon, Wild Bill Hickok. This role earned him both Emmy and Golden Globe nominations. The large cherry on top of a very successful 90s for Sam was a small role as the Stranger in The Big Lebowski. Sam appeared in only a few scenes as the mysterious narrator with a deep, warm voice, The role became an iconic piece of American cinema and arguably Sam's most lasting cultural impression. His role as the stranger has become so timeless that decades after the movie's release, it is still referenced in reverence. All his work in westerns paid off with widespread recognition in the genre. In 2007, the National Cowboy and Western Heritage Museum inducted him into their Hall of Great Western Performers. Jump to 2017, new generations that had heard of the legend of Sam Elliott were in for a treat when Sam played an aging Western actor confronting illness, regret, and his own fading legacy in the almost autobiographical The Hero. Sam even admitted that many of the emotional scenes in the movie were him basically playing himself. This admission gave fans a little bit of insight into the heartbreaking sadness Sam was dealing with. Unknown to him, he had sparked a career resurgence at the age of 73. A year later, he was in the remake of the classic A Star is Born. Alongside Lady Gaga and Bradley Cooper, a 74-year-old Sam played Bobby Maine, the older brother of Cooper's character, who is torn between love and helplessness toward his self-destructive sibling. Sam poured a lifetime of experience into his scenes, so much that the cold hands of the pain he portrayed embraced fans too. Social media blew up demanding that Sam get recognition for such an incredible performance. The role would eventually earn him his only Oscar nomination for Best Supporting Actor. This shed more light on the side project he had been working on with Ashton Kutcher, a TV series called The Ranch. The younger audience fell over themselves to be the first to watch and comment on his fantastic acting. Then, in 2021, he was in the Western miniseries 1883, which earned him further praise and a Screen Guild Actors Award for outstanding performance by a male actor in a miniseries. Outside acting, you could swear you sometimes hear Sam's voice in your head. You wouldn't be far from the truth because his distinctive voice is practically everywhere. From commercials to major documentaries, Sam does probably half of the voiceovers in the country. If you say it is as a result of having a one-of-a-kind voice type, you would be right. But Sam has proved himself to the industry to be a man of integrity and free of controversy, despite spending over 5 decades in Hollywood. Something quite a number of people would tell you is impossible. How Sam did it was talked about in an interview where he frankly explained that he didn't escape the dark side of Hollywood. He exposed what he called casting couch encounters. This cozy description was how influential people demanded sexual favors in exchange for acting roles. Sam admitted that he was approached, but he was never going to stoop that low, even if it meant losing opportunities to move up the ladder of his career. The question he found himself asking was, what would remain of him when he had traded every bit of his dignity for fame? When the Me Too movement gained momentum, he voiced his support, saying he understood what many of his peers had suffered and why the voices of the victims needed to be heard. And being a father was something that helped him stay strong. After he and Catherine Ross reunited and began dating, she had already been married 4 times. Her previous husbands were Joel Fabiani, John Marion, Conrad Hall, and Gaetano Lisi. The only reason the names of these former spouses are even talked about is that the marriages altogether lasted less than 5 years. When Sam walked down the aisle with her as her 5th husband, she was becoming his first and only wife. The marriage has lasted 4 decades and is one of the longest-running marriages in Hollywood. The blessing of that union is their daughter, Cleo Rose Elliott, who, unlike her actor parents, has decided to pursue music, which her parents seem to have supported, yet Sam and Ross have had their own fair share of parental challenges. Their daughter had adopted a free-spirited lifestyle at some point, leading to a deterioration of the relationship between her and her mother. Then, in a shocking turn of events, this troubled time resulted in a shocking incident. According to court documents filed by Ross, Cleo had become increasingly volatile, often verbally abusive and threatening. On the day of the incident, she blocked her mother from leaving the house, kicked a door, and suddenly stabbed Ross in the hand with scissors. Though the wound wasn't life-threatening, Ross felt her safety was at serious risk and immediately filed for a temporary restraining order. The media were soon alerted about the shocking case, which was the last thing Sam wanted. The family matter was a private issue and should be dealt with internally. The media were in a frenzy because this was Sam Elliott, Mr. Composed and private. Sam didn't fall for the bait and stayed true to his stoic nature. He chose to protect his family by keeping mute and issuing no public statement. Eventually, he dealt with the matter privately and Cleo apologized and Ross withdrew the restraining order. Mother-daughter relationship soon improved and all was practically forgiven and forgotten. Another issue that Sam wanted forgotten was when he unexpectedly became the subject of a false death rumor. In 2023, social media, particularly YouTube, was flooded with sensationalist videos claiming he had died at 79. Soon, people were sending outpourings of condolences, yet Sam made no effort to publicly debunk the hoax. Then, in 2025, Sam, 81 and alive, took up a significant role in Taylor Sheridan's TV series Landman, as Billy Bob Thornton's character's father, a role critics praise for its depth, with Sam's dedication to the set noted by his co-stars. Sam has maintained an estimated $20 million in net worth through acting and voiceovers. Not bad for the son of a predator hunter and PE teacher. With his wealth, he and his wife live in a seaside home in Malibu. They also maintain a property in the Willamette Valley in Oregon. And following his mother's death in 2011 at the age of 96, Sam also took ownership of his childhood home in Northeast Portland. Away from the screen, Sam lives by the cowboy code in all aspects of his life, and nothing has really changed. He is just a little richer. And Sam knows his father would be so proud.